How weird is it that Weird Al was like a huge mainstream success?
You mean
Bizarre.
like as a parody
As a
artist?
parody artist who became like a rock star for doing that. It's just like, and just so silly. Like, eat
I
it,
like.
changing
I mean,
beat to eat it.
I
What are
know.
you doing?
I do hear what you're saying. Like, I don't. I like Weird Al, but I do hear that it is actually kind of surprising to think that like a parody artist had mainstream success.
Yeah. Like, I don't hate Weird Al. I just want to put that on the record.
Yeah,
Al,
I
if you're
actually heard
listening,
his.
is his name Weird Al, like Mr. Weird Al, or is it he's Al but he's weird?
I think it's Weird Yankovic, and the Al is like a nickname, so it's like Weird Al Yankovic. You know,
Oh God.
it's not. It's the opposite of what you'd expect.
Right.
I heard his movie is actually very good, the one with Daniel Radcliffe, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Who's in this? So just what I'm thinking about silly comedy and surprise famous people who it's just kind of weird that they're famous. Like Adam Sandler. Like I like Adam Sandler, but he is not really that funny. I like his dramatic movies a lot more than his comedy now. But like, I get it. I get that he's but he's not like a comedy genius, or is he? What am I missing?
I mean, I'm not out here to like. I'm not an espoused Sandler head. I think it's we're talking about eras, right? Eras in comedy, and when he came up, this sort of like childish, like the man-child thing, was relatively fresh, right? And he came out there with this very distinct voice, this very distinct, almost overcommitment, sincerity, like almost a proto Zach Galifianakis, right? If you see him through that lens, like a little bit weird, a little bit ushered in this kind of comedy where people were man babies, you know, badly behaved, tantrum throwing kind of psychos. And that was of an era, right? And I think
Yeah, but of his SNL, in his class of SNL, he had Farley, he had David Spade, which I actually think Spade is pretty great. He was not he was the silliest goose out of all the geese on the farm.
yeah, he was the Fallon of that era, right?
Fallon's another one. They've got something. They've got an appeal. I guess they're appealing, and he's kind of good looking. You know, Sandler. I think
Who? What?
I think
Adam Sandler?
Yeah, I think he's like kind of, isn't he? The only reason I'm saying that is because people will say that
It's
I look
funny
like him.
how your opinions on male attractiveness is always dependent on my opinion on male attractiveness.
That's
You're
how
always
how I-
yearning for approval from me to, you know,
Well, you know
confirm
the
your
answer.
interest. We don't have we
know
don't
the
we don't have to
answer.
have the same likes.
Yeah, but yours would be more correct
Why?
because you're kind of, you know,
An expert?
yeah, well, more of an expert than I am.
You can find different men hot than I do. That's allowed.
Wow. All right. I did not know that.
Yeah, there is no sort of guidebook that tells you who is and isn't.
Okay.
But
to
Adam
know.
Sandler, I don't know.
Can you think of any other famous people that you're baffled that they have reached heights of success? And don't say like the Kardashians.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say there's a whole echelon of people. You know, the Hawk Tour girl. You know, these kind of meme people who come out of social spaces.
Yeah,
If
but
we're
it's more
trying
like
to,
someone
like-
who's like done. They're doing a thing, like they're an actor or they're, a singer. Music's going to be harder to fake.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I don't want to pick on people who are doing their best, but I think there was a bit of a narrative there around people like Sam Worthington, sort of in the early 2010s, Jai Courtney, these sort of
Yeah, kind of nothing actors,
like
I'll
generic
say it, I don't care.
white guys.
Yeah,
And there's Sam Worthington, you know, leading Avatar, the biggest films of all time. And other than that, I don't think he's really being used in much, you know?
I'll lump Chris Hemsworth in there. Or at it.
Nah, I disagree with that. Chris Hemsworth does have a charm.
He's
He's got comedic timing.
boring blondie.
Sure, but he's got more jizz than the other guys.
He's got more jizz than the other guys. Is that what you said?
Yeah, he's got, more jizz than the other guys.
Sounds like you've got more jizz for him.
Kajizma.
Well, you think, compare Chris Hemsworth to Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie's out there killing it. She's a company. She's making great movies, producing. She's going for something. He's just in the gym and throwing a hammer around in movies.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a long, most of his work these days is not Marvel. He's not.
What's he doing?
He's not been in that. Well, I don't know. What's his other movies at the moment?
Oh, there was a race car one, I think. That looks shit.
I don't know. He seems like he's one of the Ryan Reynolds mold, where he's sort of like got this sphere of other like merch and business stuff around him. He's got that whole workout app and that kind of thing.
Yeah. That
seems to like prop up the movie stuff and the.
Yeah, that pisses me off too. That pisses me off. I hate Chris Hemsworth.
Just because he exemplifies everything you wish you were.
I am. He wishes he was me, dude.
And he's actually said that publicly.
He did. And I said, "Don't care, fuck
not
you."
Not part of the PR campaign.
Yeah.
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 Oh, well. Welcome to Deep Forward, everybody. Thank you so much for being here in what is, for me, a rather wet and wild Sunday afternoon. And for Michael is, I think, a bit of a tired, dreary pre-wedding state as well. So looking forward to just some chill vibes,
Yeah.
This is a podcast where things are happening and Michael's here. Say hi.
I'm here in a sense.
Yes. That's not good enough. I'm Nick. Hello. Hi. Goodbye.
Goodbye. That is your best catchphrase ever.
I'm drinking a nice warm tea, Moroccan fire, a little bit minty, a little bit spicy. It's gonna perk me up. We're gonna get energy through the veins.
It's a bit cultural appropriation to be drinking Moroccan tea in New Zealand, don't you think?
No, it's not. I purchased it.
Is it?
The Moroccans sold it to me.
If you like wore a sombrero, like a Mexican sombrero, someone might accuse you of
Mexican sombrero.
Well, I don't know if there's other ones. Okay, I wanted to be polite to the other. There might be like I don't know, an English one.
French sombreros, yeah.
Sounds like, I think that Mexico has the sombrero market really cornered, I think.
I'm going to Google now because I'm curious where sombreros come from.
And while you do that, I'll finish my stupid thought.
Yeah.
If you wear like a sombrero, someone might say that's cultural appropriation.
Uh-huh.
Is it cultural appropriation to cook? This is the stupidest thing I've ever thought. Is it cultural appropriation to cook food that's not your own heritage?
Not going to deign to answer that. Sombreros are Mexican. You're correct.
There we go. The Deep Fork quiz.
There we go. Everyone tunes in every week like they're doing the Sunday quiz, Saturday quiz, yeah. And waits for those real stumpers.
We should do it. What's next week's going to be?
I would love to do a quiz night. I've always wanted to do a quiz night.
On here?
Should we do a quiz night?
On here?
But like as a podcast episode where
Fuck
people
yeah.
can just send in their answers.
Oh, we might get some engagement.
Get some engage. We have a short, maybe a 5-round quiz. And we just take people at face value, honesty system.
This is
send
brilliant.
in your answers.
This is brilliant.
We'll do it.
This is brilliant.
All right, maybe next episode we'll have a quiz for you.
Can you write it down? Because I'll forget.
Yeah, I'll put it down. Why? What do you got going on?
Out of my stupid dumbass thought, a beautiful flower of segment flower pops out of the garden.
There we go. Oh, it does need a jingle, doesn't it?
Look how excited you are. I love it when you get
excited. I love a quiz night.
I love your
a quiz
little
night.
Excited face.
I want to quiz people.
Yeah.
Tell me how you're doing, Mike.
So, this is... I'm getting married in 4 days.
Yeah.
And it feels like it. If you like, just in terms of the planning, there's a lot of like social things ramping up with people starting to arrive who are from interstate. Also, just so you know, if anyone's listening to this and they're like, he's getting married and I didn't get an invite, which there might be a few. We're having a micro wedding. which means small. It's Latin for very small. Okay, 40 people. That's basically 15 family members for each of us, Lauren and I, and 10 friends. So just in case you're feeling a bit pissed off at me for not getting an invite, it's like it has to be that. It's very difficult to create a small wedding. It's hard to have a small wedding and do the guest list because it is fraught. You literally have to cut the line at somewhere because we're trying. So if you're trying to keep the guest list to 40. There is literally one person that could basically lead. If you invite that person, you have to invite this person, and it could balloon out to double that.
Yeah,
literally. So we have to be ruthless and savage.
Yep, I wish I could be there.
Yeah. When are you getting here?
On Wednesday.
Wednesday. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you stressed?
No,
have you got people that staying at your
seems
house
like
now?
a lot of effort. Yeah.
Right.
To be honest, I don't really want to come.
Do you not?
But we'll make it work.
Cool.
Very last minute invite. Very expensive flights over.
I actually told you first.
Accommodation, foods, somewhere to stay, transport from the airport. Often with an Uber, you get a surcharge.
Georgie's not.
You're gonna
Georgie's
get your
charging
present.
you for staying at her place.
Got a present. Well, I'm getting it at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's got to be at the airport 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So getting in, and then of course this was at a time that I was hosting people here, so we've had to juggle a schedule on this end. And then of course you said you wanted me to do a speech.
Yeah.
So also really milking me for all I'm worth.
I was actually going to ask you to help set up the
a...
speakers too at the gardens, but I thought he's not going to like that.
I'm no speaker expert anyway. Get a.
It's more of a techie Bluetooth pairy thing. I think you'll end up helping out anyway. To be honest,
Sure.
You won't have a choice.
Yeah. Do you have a DJ?
No, it's just
a playlist
at the garden. I was literally just before making the playlist like song for song and like timing it because we have a pretty tight. We know the schedule pretty tight, and so like trying to map out the song and progression.
Is it all like wedding pun songs? Like, are you doing like Meeting in the Aisle, that kind of stuff?
No, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm playing Radiohead ambient B-sides because of the pun.
Look, it's not actually something that is beyond you. Let's be honest.
No, you'll see. But yeah, no, it's just a lot of planning and a lot of whatever. I don't know.
Have you got a suit?
Yeah. I got a suit. Did I show you a photo?
No.
Nah. Okay. Well, no.
I don't want to see you before the big day.
No, you can't. You can't.
I want to discover when you're walking down the aisle.
It's your big day too, Nick.
It's all about my day.
But yeah, planning. We only decided to do this 2 months ago, as you alluded to before, very crankily.
Not even alluded, just said outright that you gave me very little notice.
Yeah.
But yes.
So planning a small wedding in 2 months is still a pain in the ass, and it's the little details, like bottle openers for the beers that we'll have there. Like thinking about that is like if we're buying all these beers that have caps that you need to pop off. People won't be able to drink them if there's no bottle openers, and I just thought of it like 20 minutes ago. So anyway. Okay.
So you're catering yourself? What are you doing?
For the ceremony, if you checked your fucking invite, it's all on there. We're just doing like a charcuterie thing for the ceremony with drinks, self-serve, and then at the reception it's a bonanza.
A bonanza. I have food trucks.
Are you serious, Nick?
I haven't read the thing. Why would I read the thing?
I actually put a lot of effort into the copy for that. No, it's like a rest. It's a rest. I'm not actually. We can't discuss this now. Anyway, I'm doing fine. I'm very excited and looking forward to it.
You seem enthused. You seem chill. You seemed happy. All the vibes you really want.
Yeah.
How's Loz?
She's pretty socially. She gets socially exhausted pretty quick. So she's. We just had Casper staying with us for the last 2 days, and then he's moving on, and yeah, I think it's just like a lot of social interaction.
So, what did you expect?
It's not about not having expected it. It's just intense, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I actually regret
Do you have?
complaining so much on here because it's not necessarily accurate or representative of how I'm feeling. It is very exciting. We've got like most of my guests, like pretty much all of them are from interstate or overseas. So
Yeah.
it is very nice to see all of those people together.
Is there a meat raffle? Like, if I put $5 down for like a raffle ticket, is there a chance that I could win like a facial voucher or like a tray of sausages?
There will be a sausage meat raffle. Yes, we're not savages.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Nice. Now I'm interested.
We're aware of the traditions.
Now I'm really thinking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How much of the tradition stuff is on your mind? Like, where are you finding your interests align with, what the sort of cultural expectations are? Like, how much of it is shit that you're like, I don't want to do this?
So we're not doing really any traditional stuff, right? We're doing the walking. Lauren's dad is walking her down the aisle, and we're doing some speeches, of course, and things like that. But it's weddings are so weird in a way. Like, it's like, what are we doing? Like, you go to the park, you wear clothes that you don't normally wear. You everyone sits around. It's like you're doing a play. You're like performing like a little play, and everyone claps, and then you walk back.
And there's been
then
rehearsals,
you go,
yeah.
And then where do you go? And like after, like it's then there's back. It's so fucking weird. And marriage itself has like such a weird religious thing and government, and it's just like
property, like purchasing a woman, yeah.
And I like that it's a nice it's a nice rite of passage like that. I mean, that's obviously why we're doing it, but I mean, it's just this is a bit silly, really, isn't it?
It's one of the few things in day-to-day, well, not day-to-day, but like modern life that existed like 2,000 years ago that you're still doing. Like, there's not many other rituals from the dark ages that still have relevance to our lives today. So I do get it.
Yeah, it's just like these bizarre things. Like, when you got graduated at university, and you just realize how medieval these institutions are, these universities.
Putting on your capes.
It's so fucking weird. Like when people get their PhD and have to wear those hats, and it's like,
yeah.
I mean, it's nice, I guess, but it's just fucking weird.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out on the day how. I'll find out just how traditional your version is.
It should. I mean, vows are weird. It's like, why are we confessing our love in front of? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing kind of quasi poems and reading them out loud? And
are you doing a haiku?
Letting my second cousin Jenny just know my inner emotions. Like, Jenny doesn't need. That's none of Jenny's business. Like, it's.
I can't believe you're related to someone called Jenny.
I'm not. So yeah. Anyway, I'll stop complaining.
Well, I am excited. I've been in excited. I've been in contact with Lauren, just checking a few jokes.
Oh yeah, she said she was messaging you the other day.
Pretty hard.
How are you?
For the jugular, mate.
Actually, I don't want to. How are you?
I'm pretty well, thank you. It's been a sort of miserable week over here in terms of weather. Just grey and rainy the whole time, which is a bit unfortunate because my friend Nick's over from Melbourne and he's come straight over to just like not very good holiday weather. But he's picked up a camper van now and is out doing a tour of the South Island. So hopefully that's got him away from some of this drear.
Is he the one that's staying with you?
Yeah, he's staying here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was nice to see him at least. And then otherwise it's just been sort of standard work with the video game stuff. I finished my film script draft.
That is so. I think you should talk about it a little bit.
Yes, I suppose I may not have mentioned on the pod, but last year I received a grant from the Writers Guild for a film idea I had put in a proposal for. This is not to get actually produced yet. It's just funding to write a script. And I was successful with that application. And so I've spent the last few months writing a film script, which has been a fun adventure.
A genuinely very good one.
Thank you very much.
And it's about space.
It is about space.
And Japan and aliens.
And Japan. Yeah. It's a sci-fi thriller.
But mostly about human connection.
Oh,
and
that's the best
feminism.
Sci-fi. And feminism. Yeah. So yeah, I sent that to Michael, and he very kindly gave it a read and some positive feedback, and we'll see what happens next. But it's nice to sort of have a draft of something done. You know, I'm sure everyone can relate to the feeling of having this, you know, looming deadline or this project that you just want to get off the plate a little bit. And having finished that a couple of weeks ago, it was freeing, and with a bit of objectivity and a bit of space and some feedback, I'll go back and do a bit more revision on it. But for now, it's in a place that I'm really happy with, and hopefully leads to something.
And it's called Reentry.
Yep, you almost said it right. Reentry.
What?
Reentry.
Get a hyphen in there, Nick. Come on.
Yeah, well, I choose not to. And yeah, I'll tell you the other thing that has been happening. So we have a dog called Goose. She is now 9 months old, and she is in heat. Do you know what that means, Michael?
You put her in the oven?
No, she is basically fertile, and she is bleeding everywhere. She is on her period. And
why are we doing this?
Well, this is... No. You asked me how my week was. Oh. This is...
It was bloody.
This is what I've literally been dealing with.
Oh, Jesus.
I imagine there's a bit of discomfort. I imagine, it's a bit surprising. We tried getting her a little dog nappy with a little pad, but it's got an elastic strap thing and a little like soaky pad thing. And those are just two things that she likes to destroy on other objects. So she's just been ripping that off every time we try and put it on her. So she's just dripping all over the house.
All right. Can we do a science news? I've got a science news. New science news, though. Science news with a PSY science.
Wait,
play
PSY?
The jingle. PS science is in psychology. Play the jingle.
It's that time. Time for science news.
You moved really quickly on from that topic of discussion. You didn't even acknowledge it.
That was disgusting. Right.
That's just human nature. You claim to be a scientist. You can't handle the talk of periods.
I am a scientist for the next 3 minutes.
Okay.
We talked a few weeks ago about astrology, right? And about how maybe is there any, validity to it, even in a kind of a cosmic celestial way.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe I had that conversation with myself. Doesn't matter. But I know we've got a few people that listen to this and are into astrology. So this is shots fired at them. Okay? So if you like astrology, listen to this because you're going to not like it. Study finds intelligence and education predict disbelief in astrology. A recent study published in the Journal of Individual Differences finds that cognitive ability and educational background are the strongest predictors of whether someone considers astrology scientific. Analyzing data from over 8,500 Americans, researchers discovered that previously suggested explanations such as spirituality, religious beliefs, political orientation played surprisingly minor roles in astrological belief. Despite clear scientific consensus that astrology lacks predictive validity, it maintains remarkable popularity in modern society. Nearly 30% of Americans believe astrology is scientific, and horoscope apps continue to attract millions of users. This widespread
Wait. Nearly 30% believe it's scientific.
That's what it says. This is a proper website too, by the way. It's not just Reddit. This widespread acceptance of astrological principles prompted researchers Tobias Edwards and colleagues to investigate an interesting question: what factors determine who believes in astrology? The research team tested 4 competing hypotheses. The superficial knowledge hypothesis proposes that limited education and cognitive ability increase susceptibility to pseudoscientific beliefs. Alternative explanations suggested that astrological belief might stem from science skepticism, spiritual tendencies, or authoritarian personality traits. With inconsistent findings from previous smaller studies, the researchers sought definitive answers through large-scale analysis. It's actually a very long article. Whoa, you get the idea. Anyway, if you believe in astrology, you're dumb.
Oh, man. I like that you turned science news with a PSY.
Thank you.
To just a bludgeon. You saw a headline that made you feel superior, and you're like, okay, I'm going to use this to make people feel dumb.
What science news needed, in my opinion, always was more aggression.
It was anger.
It was anger. Okay. Violence.
I mean, the surprising thing here for me is not necessarily that it's popular. We know that it's popular. My vague feeling of the popularity, at least within the cohort of, youngish, relatively well switched on humans, is that it's not necessarily something they believe in, but it's something that's harmlessly fun, and that you can just sort of do it, and the consequences for inaccuracy are relatively minor,
Sure. It's not like religion where it can affect people in a different way.
Exactly. I'm surprised that such a high proportion of that reported. I mean, we are talking about America, which, as we know, has its abundance of issues.
The stupidest country in the world.
I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but
what is the stupidest country in the world, Nick?
Well, I don't know that you can categorize stupidity. What is that? How are you defining stupidity? No, let me just say, what's the universal metrics here that we're measuring on? Is it in terms like math knowledge? Does that
I guess you could do IQ maybe?
Yeah, but IQ is made up. Is that more valuable knowledge than, say, an agrarian's community's ability to grow crops? I can't fucking harvest corn, or keep a crop alive. But that's valuable knowledge.
Why did you just text me Vietnam? Why are you having to go?
Because I couldn't say it out loud. My point is, how are you defining the value of information there? Obviously, every culture has knowledge that is relevant to its own survival and interests and geography and culture and history and everything. I don't know if you can privilege one type of knowledge over the other and call a country the stupidest.
Okay, I'm going to say it's New Zealand then. I think some people really do believe in astrology.
I 100% believe that's true. Yeah, of course. Some people think it is real.
And it's so much in the culture, the vernacular, Taurus rising or whatever that, it's all the time, everywhere, all the time.
It was definitely a big thing on dating apps.
Yeah, it's just, all right. I'm just coming in angry today.
Yeah, I think you're bringing some anger about love. And you're expressing it through hatred for astrology.
Yeah. And, I got to save some of this anger for my wedding.
Oh, boy.
Keeps you awake.
Yeah. I also have a science news here. Michael, this was in Scientific American. The article is entitled, "This Impossible New Color is so rare that only 5 people have seen it. Researchers discover a new color outside the range of human color vision. but you have to laser your retinas to see it. There are only so many colors that the typical human eye can see. Estimates put the number at just below 5 million. But now, for the first time, scientists say they've broken out of that familiar spectrum and into a new world of color. In a paper published on Friday in Science Advances, researchers detail how they used a precise laser setup to stimulate the retinas of 5 participants, making them the first humans to see a color beyond our visual range, an impossibly saturated bluish green. Our retinas contain 3 types of cone cells, photoreceptors that detect the wavelengths of light. S cones pick up relatively short wavelengths, which we see as blue. M cones react to medium wavelengths, which we see as green. And L cones are triggered by long wavelengths, which we see as red. These red, green, and blue signals travel to the brain, where they're combined into the full color vision we experience. But these 3 cone types handle overlapping ranges of light. The light that activates M cones will also activate either S or Ls. There's no light in the world that can activate only the M cone cells, because if they're being activated, for sure one or both of the other types get activated as well. The research team wanted to try getting around that fundamental limitation, so they developed a Technicolor technique, which they call Oz. It comes from The Wizard of Oz, where there's a journey to the Emerald City where things look like the most dazzling green you've ever seen. The researchers used lasers to precisely deliver tiny doses of light to select cone cells in the human eye. First, they mapped a portion of the retina to identify each cone cell as either an S, M, or L cone, and then using the laser, they delivered light only to M cone cells. It wasn't exactly a comfortable setup. He had to bite down hard on a bar to keep his head and eyes still. As the laser shone into his retina, he perceived a tiny square of light, roughly the size of a thumbnail viewed at arm's distance. In that square, he glimpsed the Emerald City, a color the researchers have named Olo. Olo. So I won't finish reading this article. I put it in the chapter title here for anyone who's curious. But Michael, we can apparently just laser your eyes and let you see magical new colors at full saturation.
Do you know dogs can only see blue, yellow, and grey?
I think I vaguely knew that, yeah. It does shape things when you realize just how subjective vision is, right?
Yeah. Do you know anyone who's colorblind?
I knew someone growing up who was colorblind. I'm sure I haven't, individually asked everyone, and indeed not everyone necessarily knows they are.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are people I know who are colorblind.
I know 2 people who are colorblind, and they don't give a fuck. And I would give a fuck.
The interesting thing is, if it's the only thing you've ever known, right, then what else are you meant to do? But these days, for certain types of colorblindness, you can get those magic glasses, right? Like, that's the cool part of the science coming through. Like, imagine only seeing certain hues for the entirety of your existence. Then you just put on a pair of sunglasses and all of a sudden it's like, oh, fuck, red.
Yeah.
I
love those videos of people.
Yeah.
That's the good shit.
That's the good shit.
That's good content.
You know what I also like? A hearing aid switching on.
Oh, video. I love a hearing. That's actually my favorite one too.
Yeah, that one's better than the glasses, but I'll still take a glasses.
Yeah. How do you feel about a veteran coming home and surprising someone in
dog?
disguise?
No, I don't care about it if it's a person. Yeah. But when the dog is there and the dog's not sure if they recognize it and then they smell them. And that's a good one. Jumping up and excited, and it's been like 2 years.
Yeah. I'm often thinking about just like how my dog is just like going about the world, like just going, like just like first of all, just like so close to the ground, but then like just guided by smell. Her entire world is kind of guided through her nose, and she can't see the color red, and it would just be so strange. It's got these giants all the time, just like hovering over her, picking her up.
I was gonna say, and picking her up and moving her, and like complete like lack of body autonomy.
Yeah, she can't do anything, but she's the happiest person in this house for sure, 100%. Especially right now.
You have a female dog. Did she not go into heat? Did you spay her early?
I don't know. Is she what age do? I don't know if she did. It's not my problem. It sounds like a Lauren,
like 9 months.
Lauren Chask, that one.
Your dog's like a year old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so should have already. You don't know if she's been desexed?
No, she's been desexed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that happened before the first heat.
Okay. Heat.
You should pay more attention, just as a general vibe.
I just get grossed out too easily. I'm very squeamish, Nick. I'm very, very squeamish.
I'm discovering this. I mean, despite the fact that you've told the most horrific stories on this podcast about like ripping teeth out and having holes at the vet dentist and things, you seem to have very low tolerance for bloody fluid stuff.
Pain's fine. Actually, I went to the dentist I had the best dentist experience ever on Tuesday. Very nice.
Oh, I'm very excited for you. Tell me
more. It was a Bupa members first dentist, and it's called it's not even called a dentistry. Their name is called like a spa, right? There's something like
mouth spa,
and it looked like a spa in there. And there was like a lady there, and she said namaste. I walked in, and there was like,
and you were shirtless and wearing a towel.
Yeah, she gave me a mouth. She actually didn't even look in my mouth, which was weird.
Oh,
yeah. No, but it was just like. Just all very nice, just very nice lady, like nice young women.
This is the weirdest.
I know, but it was. It's a factor because they're all just very caring and nice. And I've only ever had psychos for dentists.
El Cheapo, yeah.
Well, we had a family. This is whatever. Actually, I can't say. No, I won't say that. I haven't had a good run with dentistry. In my life, and that's not necessarily by choice. I'll just say that. But anyway, these chicarellos were so nice to me. So I don't know what that is either, dude. I'm sorry, but we're there.
You saw my bafflement in real time.
Chicarello?
Chicarellos? Chicas?
Leave it in.
You could have just gone with chicas.
I know.
It would have been really creepy still, but it would have at least been a word.
So good.
These chicas were unbelievable.
Yeah. No, but I just left. I told them. I didn't shut up the whole time, by the way. I was very aware at the end that I had
That's why
not
they
stopped
didn't look at your mouth.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get any tools in.
Yeah. No, anyway, I made a point of telling her, I was like, this was the best experience at a dentist I've had.
So what were you having done? Was it a checkup? A
checkup
polish?
and a clean. And
Yeah.
then they told me that I have some real issues. So
Yeah.
but I took it really well. You know what?
Yeah, I mean, they were massaging your feet at the time.
Yeah, when she was cleaning up, when she was telling me what was wrong, this is real. She was going through and she was like, we need to do some work when your major dental kicks in a few months. And she was going through, you need to get this done and this done, and then she said, but I can tell you floss a lot, so that's good. And she kept going, and then at the end of it, I said, all I heard there was the compliment about flossing. And then what she did was, she like kind of half laughed. And then later when I got some x-rays done after that, she gave me another compliment, but it was so forced, but I was like so embarrassed that she did it, because she only did it because she was like, oh, she must be thinking, oh, this guy needs a compliment. Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
placate his ego. Which is just not true.
I love your eyebrows as well.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was so like nothing.
You've got such gentle hands.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're finally at a good dentist and hopefully can get some of those. Like, what kind of issues are we talking? Feelings?
I need to get I've had a root canal previously, and it has a cap, and the work on that cap, apparently they said, was terrible, like shockingly bad, and they were like, we have to replace the whole thing.
God. Well, hopefully that's not too expensive.
Yeah. Well, I might can you get like a general anesthetic for something like that? I would rather just.
Yeah, I mean, when I had my wisdom teeth out, I did it under general because I had all 4 out and they were all fucked. So
really?
I was just like, knock me out, just do it all at once.
I might request a Jenny.
Yeah, you might have to do it at a day hospital though, so it just depends.
Day hospital. I hate hospitals. I'll just.
Well, you want general anesthetic. What do you want them to do?
Oh, can you rock up to the dentist drunk? Do you reckon? Would they allow that?
I don't think that's generally advisable.
Yeah, they'd probably smell it.
They're right up in your face. Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to.
Yeah. I think you're allowed to rock up not drunk, but with a beer can hat and start drinking during the process.
Yeah.
So you're technically sober when you sign the paperwork, but then you very quickly start to scull.
Yeah. No sombreros, though. It's just not practical.
Sombreros. Chicarellas.
Episode title.
Let's not. Why don't we move from mouth myths to general myths with the Michael's Myth segment? Play the myth jingle, Michael Myth.
Michael's myth, Michael's myth. Annoyed, displeased, riled up, offended, aggrieved, irritated, chagrined, pissed off, put out, resentful, and big, discontented. Michael's myth.
And we're back. Mikey, kick us off.
Why did you say that?
Because I am tired. Well, Michael, let me start us off with a myth. This one here, I think a little bit of a universal myth. Everyone should understand this. If you are in the music appreciation sphere, here's my myth, Michael. An album release lead up, when they put out too many singles, where there's too many advanced singles, and I've heard 5 of my 8 tracks already in the lead up to an album. I'm sorry, save something. Save something. I feel like Bon Iver put out like 4 or 5 tracks in the advance of this album, and the first half of it I've already heard before. I'm just leave me a little something, you know?
I agree with that. It's not. It sounds like if that's happening, it just sounds like the artist is not is saying that this doesn't need to be an album together. It's just a collection of singles, because you can get a teaser, maybe 1, maybe 2 of a 10 track, no more than that.
Yeah. I think the feel that I had listening, and I'm picking on Bon Iver, but this happens all the time with everyone. The feeling I had was that there was like 6 singles or 5 singles that I'd heard over the past 6 months. And then what actually came out was like a 3-track EP of new songs to me, stuck at the bottom of music I'd already heard before.
Exactly.
You know, and that's just not the vibe. I just want to sink into a thing and have a fresh experience. Just give me a taste and then just wait. And if you don't want to wait that long, then don't have a 3-month announcement to release window. That's just so long.
Totally agree.
Announce it, drop it a week later. Or if you're going to put out a single and a bit of a lead, give it a month's notice. Like, what is this huge lead time? I don't get what we're doing.
Well, Tom York and Pritchard are kind of doing a similar thing, aren't they?
But their album is 12 tracks. So they've put out 3 now.
Yeah.
But that's still 3/4 of it I haven't heard. I won't hear, you know? But I shouldn't have to be the one like micromanaging this to like not listen to music to maintain my experience of the album. Like, don't you want it to feel special when it drops? I don't know. It just, come on, miffed.
Take it more seriously, Bon Iver.
Yeah.
Take it more seriously.
You're saying it Bon Iver like his...
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Bon Iver.
Bon Iver. Okay.
It is French, but yes, continue.
All right. Hey, what do you think about this? I mean, I'm waiting for the barber the other day. It's kind of a collection of, in a line of shops. There's it's next to like 2 cafes, right? And you just write your name on the board, and then you can wait inside or outside. And I chose outside, and the sun was out, and it was like 31, which is kind of weird for now, right? And there's another guy waiting, doing the same thing that I'm doing on this kind of like little deck thing. He takes his shirt off, and just to get some sun, and he's on the phone as well. He's just like so casually and confidently just taking his shirt off. And I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and he wasn't like super like flabby, but like he was flat. He hasn't seen a dumbbell since the 80s, and it was just it was so gross. And guys do this a lot. I don't like it. I'm like, when you see guys running with their shirt off, I'm like, why? Like, what? I mean,
but that's the most excusable version, right? If you're actively exercising, right, the purpose of sweat is a cooling mechanism for the body. You leak water, and then the wind makes it feel cooler on your body, right? Like, that's a cooling mechanism. The most excusable time to be shirtless is when you're actually actively exercising, right?
No.
What do you mean no?
No, it's so unnecessary to take off your shirt for a run.
Why?
It's offensive.
Offensive to whom?
Me. It's offensive to me. Why do I need to look at your sweat? Why do I need to know what your belly button looks like? It's fucking
This
gross.
is male privilege. We're allowed to do it.
No, this is my point, Nick.
So this is your feminism argument.
Yeah, dude. I'm an ally, as you know.
Okay.
And women can't do it. You don't see a woman. I would love to see a woman. I mean,
So
I actually
rather than
have, but they have
advocating-
been unwell. But I just think it just says so much about a guy who does that. And it just says that they are only thinking about themselves, or they think that they are.
How's it affecting anyone else? What are you talking about?
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Why would you take your shirt off at the cafe? It's crazy.
Look,
crazy.
I'm talking about in a running context. I agree here. This is weird to sit there static outside while you're waiting for a haircut and take your shirt off. I agree. Weird. A strange choice. I'm in the instance of running, that's fine. Who the fuck cares?
Just back me up, Nick. I back
No,
you
I
up on
refuse
every
to.
single move.
Also, I'll have you know that sometimes when you see a guy running and he's really fit, it's quite nice that he's got his top off. So you're actually being quite homophobic.
Oh, shit. I've come full circle.
You're too busy being a feminist to care about the gays.
You sound like J.K. Rowling now.
How dare you? How dare you? Oh, fuck J.K. Rowling. Jesus Christ.
Oh, well, what's happened? J.K.
Is that a joke or is that not a joke?
We literally did a whole episode on this thing.
Okay, good.
She
has been in the news recently this week, though, because she did very smugly and gleefully brag about her successful political activism campaign, which saw changes to the legislation in the UK.
Positive changes?
No. No.
It's so, her career trajectory is just so, like, why is she, like, so defiantly dying on this hill after being
We
the
talked
richest?
about this, didn't we, recently? Like, you're a billionaire with the beloved, like, fandom that will last for generations. You could just sit there and just do nothing and go down in history as, like, one of the greats. And she's just decided
to light it all on fire.
Nah. Yeah.
Pretty badass, if you ask me.
It's so weird that, like, some of her characters that she wrote and created would actively hate her. Like, Hermione actively would loathe J.K. Rowling, let alone the actors who have all played them and then now come out and said, no. And she's turned on the actors that starred in the Harry Potter franchises very publicly.
Yeah. I never read any of her Harry Potter stuff. I only started reading her stuff
Robert
when
Galbraith.
she started posting on Twitter. I really like her later work.
Yeah, fucking hell. Like, just so disappointing. The controversy as well at the moment is about they're doing the new series of Harry Potter and they're going to do it as like a 7-series
There's a Harry Potter
TV
series
show
coming out?
Yeah, so they're remaking it, right? And they're casting all these people at the moment, and so there's a lot of kerfuffle about the actors joining on board this project, which is actively lining the pockets of this like really transphobic woman these days. So it's like John Lithgow and Janet McTeer and Nick Frost as Hagrid, and there's been a lot of hatred towards all of the people who've signed on for this because it feels a bit like bad allyship.
I'm looking forward to that just dominating my social media for 3 weeks.
For the next decade.
I'm so sick of knowing about stuff like that. You know, I like I'm so sick of knowing about like Squid Game and like it just everyone talks and even the White Lotus stuff, which I actually really did like White Lotus. I will say that. I'm just so sick of this culture where everyone's like talking about the thing, and I'm just like but I can't get away from it. Like I think I might delete social media. Maybe.
You absolutely will not, because I know you. But also, that is
what does
less.
That mean?
You. It means you absolutely will not, because I know you.
Does that mean that you? What am I like? Out
You're
there
an addict, man. You're an addict. You've got a sickness that only the X can scratch.
The only reason I still have Instagram is to post the clips for the show.
Well, that's very nice
and the beautiful art.
And the beautiful art.
And the other stuff, and the pictures of Sydney Sweeney.
Yes. Your algorithm is all Sydney Sweeney.
It's Sydney Sweeney and pasta recipes.
Now, if someone
Liam
could generate...
Hemsworth.
Liam. Okay. Fuck. I was going to talk about something, but again, my brain's disappeared.
Let's just end it. Have you ever sent a nude?
Have I ever sent a nude?
Yeah.
I would plead the fifth.
Everyone knows what that means. Okay. I don't think guys should send nudes.
Why?
As a rule. It's too hard to take. It's too hard to know what to do. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
What?
It's
too hard to know what to do.
It just occurred to me that it's very hard to take a nude as a male.
Why?
And make it look good.
That's not true.
Maybe it's.
What are you trying to send?
Nothing. No, I'm not. It was just a thought that I had the other day.
If you've enjoyed this, then there are plenty of other episodes in which we talk about things with a little bit more energy and enthusiasm, but perhaps not as much of a fun hang as this one was. And I feel rejuvenated and enthused by a little bit of a social get-together in otherwise a relatively uneventful Easter weekend. So for that,
oh, it's fucking Easter. Easter Sunday.
If you want to get in touch with us, you can send an email to deepfort@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Instagram, which is only there for Michael to post photos and look at Sydney Sweeney. You can find us on Facebook, though no one does anymore. And you can rate us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. You can leave a comment there, and we will see it. And of course, you can try and find energy for a big week ahead.
Should we give a shout out to Jesus?
Does he need a bit of a boost?
Well, we should acknowledge the fact that 2025 years ago he rose from the friggin' dead, Nick.
We should give a shout out to Jesus.
Happy Easter, Jesus. Hope you're all right.
Big ups. That was a pretty cool stunt you pulled. And look, if people are still talking about it all this time later, like, this guy had jizz. We know it.
I hope he got some Easter eggs up there in heaven. Some nice ones, yeah.
Do you think he was a bit like, so he's up there hanging with his dad, and it's like, yeah, fuck, I've been staying with my folks now for 3 days, and it's just getting a little bit, like we're in each other's space. And then he gets this call from down below, like he's coming back. And he's like, oh, thank fuck. Because, I've done, I said hi, like I caught up with what they're up to these days. But as you get older, it's harder to cohabitate. And I bet you he was a little bit like, that was long enough.
No, totally. Because it's probably was really boring in heaven at that time, because as everyone knows, heaven's technology progresses at the same rate as human technology. So they didn't have like TVs up there in 2000 BC. They still had like pebbles and little sticks and stuff, and that was their fun. So
sorry, do you think that Jesus was 2000 BC? Just double checking your timeline here.
I might have to Google that.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
It was around then. I'll say it's around. It's a window.
Okay, it was around that.
It's a
Yeah,
window.
no one has an exact date, but
No
it
one
was
knows.
give or take 2000 BC.
Give or take 2,000 years, either side. It
Either
could be
side.
4,000 BC. Do you care about Easter at all?
Nah,
Clearly
haven't
not.
done
We both
anything.
forgot.
Yeah, I didn't forget. I brought it up.
Did you get any chocolates, or did you buy any chocolates in
Nah.
the house?
Nah.
Good
There are
on
a
you,
few
mate.
eggs in the cupboard, but in case they just bought them on a whim, they weren't like hidden or anything. Goose would eat them if we put them in hideable places.
Oh, Pepsi loves chocolate.
That's not a thing you should allow, Michael.
What? Why?
Dogs can't eat chocolate.
Pepsi can. She eats it all the time.
Well, she's on a sugar diet, so that's okay.
She shits a lot, though, in the house.
And she's always making these moans like she's got indigestion or poison.
Yeah. And she breathes
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Hey, Michael.
Hey, dude.
I feel like the perfect energy vibe capper to this episode would be to bring back a little bit of the old blanket fort, and let's just nod off. Let's just take a little bit of a meditative end to this, and try and regain some energy. You got some stuff coming up, and I feel like probably haven't been sleeping as much as you should.
Okay. I haven't been very happy with my performance on Blanket Fort.
Okay.
So I am a little bit nervous about it.
Okay.
We can give it a crack.
Well, we'll get to the end, and I will give you a rating. And whether or not you're invited back for another Blanket Fort will depend on your performance here today. So I hope that puts you at ease.
Great. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
So, if this is your first time here in Blanket Fort, I encourage you to slip between the covers, pull up the quilt to your chin. If you call it a doona, that's okay. It's a safe place here. So we know that a lot of listeners like to have us on in bed at night as they drift off, and here in Blanket Fort, it's our goal to usher you to the land of Nod.
Nick, can you...
Michael...
Sorry, can you just move over a little bit? Your leg's touching my leg and it's weird.
Sorry, this is a double, and as two grown men, we should probably be in a queen or larger.
It's very sweaty in here.
All right. Here we go. You pull up your car into the factory car park to start your shift. As you approach the entrance, the security guard, Kevin, nods and waves you through.
You notice that it smells like burgers in this factory for some reason. But it's not a burger factory. It's a manufacturing factory for metals, just like little, like keys and stuff. Up ahead, a light.
The light is in the staff room. As you approach, you see a sign over the doorway. Happy birthday, Barbara. It's a burger party. Barbara's turning 61, and she wanted burgers. That explains why this metal production factory smells like burgers. And satisfied, you return to your position at the screw-making plant.
In your office, at the computer, because you're not a factory worker. No, you're the boss of the factory, and you're about to fire Barbara on her birthday. So you go back to your computer and you write an email, and the first word of that email is
Dear. Like most emails, you've started it with dear, and then the second word you type is Barbara. That's a good start, you think to yourself. She's really not going to know at this point that anything is wrong. You hit return on the email. Click, click, and now the cursor is ready for the opening paragraph. You're fired. Period. You think to yourself. Short and to the point. You insert a default signature and click send. Ding! You hear it arrive on Barbara's phone next door in the burger party, and in seconds she's walking into the office.
But just before she opens the door, you hear 2 gunshots coming from the burger party. Barbara is just staring into your eyes, and she just slides down the window because someone shot her.
You push your rolly chair back and stand up with a fright. Barbara? You call?
Babs.
Babs? But there is no response on account of her sad murder while she discovered she had been fired. You walk to the door and creep towards the burger party. Inside, shadows. The flickering of candles on the birthday cake provide the only illumination. You open the staff room door cautiously and call out, "Who shot Barbara just as I was trying to fire her?"
But before you can finish your last word, all of the lights in the factory come back on, and people in the staff room yell, "Surprise!" It was a prank.
But that doesn't help what happens next. Shocked by the sudden outpouring of noise, you stumble backwards. Even though Barbara was in the room and it was a surprise party for her. The staff thought you were Barbara, yes, and fired off too early.
Actually, it was a decoy party.
It was a decoy. No, I don't think that makes sense. And the gunshots were party poppers, and people were too excited, and they were dragging you out because it's your... No, it's Barbara's birthday, as we've established. But anyway, the point is, it was a prank, and it's too late because you stumble backwards over the railing in surprise, landing on the screw manufacturing conveyor belt. Uh-oh.
You realize this is your final moment. And as you're looking up, as horrified low-level employees are looking down on you, blood oozing out around you, you realize as your eyes start to close that it was also your birthday, but you had forgotten because you worked so hard. And the staff wanted to do something nice for you.
You're carried along the conveyor belt at the screw manufacturing plant. And as you lie there, broken and deformed, you think, I could still survive if only someone hits the big red button. And as you approach the giant press that pounds at the end of the conveyor, thump, 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 you see movement from the corner of your eye. It's Barbara. And as you feel a wash of relief, she holds up her phone and says, I don't think you should have fired me. And the steel mill crushes your skull to bits. Splat.
Splat.
Splat.